What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about tackle storage solutions. All of it. Everything from plastics to your tackle boxes to how you transport things to terminal. We've got it covered in this video today. We're going to keep this under 14 hours, so we're going to show you a thing. We're going to say what it is, where to get it. We'll put it in the description below for you.
You're welcome, by the way.
It takes a lot of work, more than you think. And then we'll pop a price up on the screen so you can go check it out. We are going to cover the full budget spectrum from super cheap stuff we found at a craft store for like $5 all the way up to the bougie pinky out things that we typically like and everybody yells at us about in the comments below. But we've got you covered because we are talking about everything that's affordable as well.
Before we get into it, if you got questions, write them down below. We are obsessive about answering the questions that come in, and we know that we're not going to be able to cover everything because there's 17,000 boxes we're going to hit. So if you got a question about a gasket or quality or whatever, leave it below. We'll answer as best we can.
So we're going to start out with plastics storage. This is like every bass fisher person's conundrum. Oh my gosh, do we freak out about this stuff?
We've tried everything.
Yeah, and we literally have. And I'll show you some of the things that absolutely didn't work either in a minute. But we'll start out the top with something a little more bougie. These are $50, but Z-Man has actually a ton of options. They also have bait binders if you're into that thing. I'll say this. I don't like bait binders. As soon as you add more than 10 bags of plastics in there, they tend to explode. If they have the metal binder rings, the binder rings tend to break down over time. I'm just not a fan.
They hold a lot less than you would think. They seem like they'd hold a lot less than you think.
This holds an insane amount. So one thing I love about this, one, it's index storage. So it's top down. I can see everything. Just go through it like, what were those old...
Rolodex?
Rolodex, what do you do at the library? What's that? Dewey Decimal System, your baits, baby.
Jeff has this in alphabetical.
No, I don't. But you can store 1,000,000 bags of plastics in here. Not quite. I think there's about 75 to 100. So
75 was the comfortable, 100 is possible.
It holds a lot. It's also got this top clear storage for just extra baits, accessories. I've got like some jigs and stuff in there. And a mesh storage on the back. It also has the waterproof rough bottom. And it's hard.
Sturdy.
So it will hold up. It doesn't get like water damage to it, and you can store it anywhere in your boat. I put it into my native Titan-X, which for me holds a lot of water. So it got wet and it was fine. So that's cool. And it's got this big old zipper system. I think these are a great option if you want to store a lot of plastics and just buy like one thing. There you go. $50. It's a pretty good option. And again, they have a bigger size and they have smaller sizes, so you can spend a little more or a little less on those. All right, so there's like a big version of this called the bait lockers, and this would be the bait blocks, and then they have bait binders, and knowing Z-Man, they capitalize the Z.
And everything ends with that Z. Another plastic storage we tried, we looked at a bunch of different options, a bunch of them.
Yep.
The closest contender that we found that was soft like that one in the same price range is the Bass Mafia briefcase. These are kind of hard to find. They're in the $40 to $50 range, depending on the time of year and whether or not they're on sale. I used this for 2 full seasons, and I do like it. However, it doesn't have the index storage. You can't put the plastics vertically.
You pile them.
They don't. They just kind of are in a big pile. And then when you open the flap, the whole thing is very soft and kind of wiggly. And so things tend to spill out of it. And it's not 100% waterproof. So it's very good for like general transport, for kayak fishing. The bait blocks are superior for sure, especially for the money. And then so are these Busby options, the quick cube. We have been using these for everything from camera gear to plastics to swim baits to terminal to BFS. We've used them for absolutely everything. They are not 100% submersible, but they are weatherproof for sure, and they are very heavy duty. They also have a window in the front, which we really like. That makes things easy to find. They come in a regular depth and also the deep. So this is the regular depth. It's about 3 inches. And then this is the deep. It's about 2 inches or 1.5 inches deeper. They have a little handle on the front or on the top, which is nice. If you want to label them, you can attach a label here. They also have these poles. You can get different colors if you want for about, I think, $5 for a pack of 5 or 6 of them.
Multicolor pack.
Multicolor pack, so you can really get dialed in on your storage. They're also the same size as boxes, so this is the same dimensions as a 3700 size box. The mediums are the same as a 3600 size box, which makes them very easy to store in a kayak crate because it's the same as all your tackle boxes. I do love these. You can see we've got camera gear in them because it is weatherproof. I have loved these for general storage, and I have really liked them for plastic storage. Things we don't like. When you open these up,
don't spill my GoPro, please.
I'm going to spill out everything because you can see right here, it's already happening. Things can fall out. So what I end up doing is I end up opening it about this much, and I end up picking through on this side, and with the window I can see everything. So I don't love that. You're not going to flip this over the top and mess with it. It's just not going to happen. But we do love those. They're also about half the price of the $50 Bass Mafia briefcase, and they are heavier duty. So
I'll also say this, Ziplocs, very
great.
cheap.
Yep, go for it.
So if you want to just go super budget on this, go ahead and grab a Ziploc. They're insanely free.
Yeah, that's the way to go, for
But
sure.
We like to use this other stuff. We just feel it's heavier duty. We
Yeah.
don't have to like change them out over time. We've used most of these for years,
Yep.
and we are abusive with our equipment.
Ziplocs, they do break. You think they're waterproof until they're not, and then they're not waterproof, and then they break open when you least want them to. Any hook that you put inside of a Ziploc is going to ruin it, and that's not the case with these other ones. So that's just why we don't go with Ziplocs. You do you. We talk about fish the way you want to fish, budget the way you want to budget. This is my favorite option for holding plastics.
Love these.
We just heard about these within the last, I don't know, 4 months. This is the Evolution Fishing, these called the bait bags?
So this is the Evolution Bass Sack. Now, what makes this stand out from a lot of other bait zip bags that are out there? This is highly durable material that they're using. I believe it's a PVC.
So yeah, it's a PVC.
This is a PVC plastic, so it's going to hold up to the elements really well. And you've got this corner zip. This makes such a huge difference in terms of how much this bag actually opens. So you can actually find your stuff for once. That's cool. Got a little D-ring clip there, so you can clip this onto anything, backpack, side of your kayak, whatever. They are water resistant. Again, not fully submersible, just like the quick cubes for the Busby. Essentially, this is so good and so much cheaper than all the other options for what you get. It's a high value that we've switched over from the Busby quick cubes, which we used to recommend all the time, to this, again, mostly because stuff spills out of the Busby quick cubes.
Well,
and these are great.
It's clear all the way around, which helps. It comes in 3 different sizes. So this is the medium. This is the large, which is gigantic. This is the one I recommend everyone get. These are 20 bucks.
Yep.
Mediums are 17. The smalls are 15. So
there's a tiny one.
So you're talking about getting 2 of these for the price of one of those. And I'm telling you right now, this holds more than the Bass Mafia briefcase did. You're talking 50 bags of plastics, no problem. So for 2 of these, you can replace your bait lockers. And I'll be honest with you, these are phenomenal. The large size fits inside of almost every single front hatch of a kayak that I've seen, and because it's a little squishy moldy, you can jam it wherever you want.
So at the end of the day, if you want to step up from your Ziploc, we think that's a great option, probably our best overall. And if you want to spend a little bit more, we really like the Z-Man bait blocks. Those are great too. Now, things that we
have tried
but don't really love anymore for most of these solutions. One is on the pricier end, and that would be the Busby Fast Flats. It comes in a bunch of different sizes. We believe that this is best used for like tools, utility type stuff. Maybe I did use it for terminal for a little bit. You could. It wasn't my favorite solution. I actually had my BFS ultralight stuff in this one.
Good for spinner baits, but not for plastics.
They're really durable. They can be solid. They have these little side straps there, so you can like zip tie this to side of your boat. I think on a John boat, I might love this. In the kayak, I've used it every way you can think of, strapped it to the seat, all of that. It just wasn't a big win for me, so I don't use these anymore.
For plastics.
For plastics, or really even for tools and stuff anymore. I've found other solutions. So that's just, I'm kind of out on that. Other things that we don't love.
You get the general bag. Now this actually is
for free from MSU.
These are free, right? But these just like little bags. 6 cents makes one of these. That's like a rectangle. It looks like this. They're $15-ish, and they have like a dual zipper that you pull across. I thought that was the answer.
But
I bought one. I used it for 2 years thinking this will be the best. I lost way too many plastics in it. It was actually kind of difficult to open after a while. The zipper's not high enough quality for me to recommend it over the Evolution bags. Those Evolution bags are way better. I really did think that this 6 cents bag was the thing. It's not. Neither are general bags. Just for me as kayak angler, I want 1 to 2 bags max with me for plastics. That's all I ever take anymore. And again, the Evolution and the bait blocks are the perfect size for a kayak and hold exactly way more than what I would need.
We also tried this thing from Amazon.
We tried a couple different versions of this. This is a makeup bag. And what we wanted vertical storage like the bait blocks with separators. And these appeared to have like little separators you could like sort of make your own. This did not work. This was way too heavy. The hard-sidedness of it made it horrible. This is not an option. We really did give it our best effort, and it was a failure. But you know what? Failure led us to eventually the bait blocks and the Evolution bag. So thank you, piece of garbage makeup bag, for getting us to the right answer eventually. But don't buy one of those.
That's what we do on this channel, though. We try things and see if we can find ways to creative solutions.
Money, get creative. You say try this. We go do it, and we say thanks, but no thanks sometimes.
That wasn't it. Just get the Evolution. So next up, we're going to talk about some Swimbait storage solutions. And there's a lot out there. There's a lot of really expensive ones, but you got to keep in mind that swim baits are expensive, so you don't want to go too cheap with it. I'll start out with one that I don't use anymore that I can't really recommend, but it was inexpensive-ish for Swimbait storage, and that was the I Surrender. Overall, this is a roll-up bag that can get the job done. It's a little too big, but they make much smaller sizes, so ignore the size of this one. The point is that I'm trying to get at is that the stitching on this is not the best. So each of these panels, one, they don't have water drainage. That is a problem with swim baits. I don't want my hooks rusting. I want them to dry out. So that can be an issue. Two is that the stitching popped on many of these sleeves on me in a short season. And that's not acceptable because then it's going to fall apart over time. So overall, I thought it was going to be a good solution. It did hold a lot of swim baits. The bigger size did, obviously. The smaller sizes wouldn't hold as many. But for the price, I thought it would be good. It turned out not to be. I'm out on that one. The next one that we've used a ton is the Plano Z-Wrap. Paul still uses this, I believe, right?
I love this thing.
Paul loves this thing, still uses it as his daily swim bait carriage option. So go ahead and talk to that.
So the reason I like this one is that it's very modular. So let's say you just wanted to carry 6 swim baits. This is actually a pretty small package, even though it rolls out into a ton. By the time you get this thing rolled up, it's actually really small. So 5, 6 swim baits, yes, it works. If you want to carry all of your soft and hard swim baits, glide baits, whatever, it carries the most of almost any one that I've seen so far.
A lot.
Each one of these pockets, even if it's like an 8 or a 9-inch glide bait, can hold at least 2. Mm-hmm. I have 3 to 5 in each one of these pockets. I also keep all of my soft-tailed swim baits, if they're in the plastic, in here as well. The thing that I like about this the most, though, is that it's got a mesh back. Now, that sucks for hooks. You have to use hook protectors. So a little bit annoying. However, if you put a wet bait back in here, it is going to dry. That's a huge upgrade from some of the other options. All the other options that you'll see, airflow in here is critical. So all you're going to do is put one of these on each one of your treble hooks, pop them on and off as needed, and I keep like 20 extra in the very bottom pocket. It makes life really easy and just allows you to really keep track of all your baits in a really simple way.
These are super cheap on Amazon. Just buy like a 50 to 100 pack and you are good to go. They come in multiple sizes too, so depending on the sizes of your swim bait, you can get different size hook covers.
So all you do is you unvelcro one of these. You got clear, rugged plastic in the front, then you got mesh in the back, again, to dry your baits. Yeah, this is my, I need one thing to carry all my baits. Yep. This is $50 or less. A lot of times this is on sale. You can get these on Amazon, which is wonderful. Hated this at first until I figured out the hook thing. Yeah. Now I love it.
Next up is new to us this year from Evolution Tackle. This is the big bait bag and it comes in a couple different sizes. This has become my go-to swim bait carrier. I love a lot of things about this. One, it's actually built out of a really rugged type material, so it's going to hold up.
Super rugged.
Yeah, it holds a lot of friggin' baits. This is the big bag.
You get the zipper in the front, which nobody else has. And then you have,
so you can store some extra like hooks and stuff in there.
Then you have tabs to actually pull open the heavy-duty Velcro, heavy-duty clear in the front with grommets at the bottom to get rid of water, allegedly.
Ish. It's not low enough in the pockets that it would drain all of the water. You would have to like tip it around. Point is, dry your swim baits before you toss them in there.
You get a little bit of air though, so that is a win. I'm glad that they at least took that into consideration. Yeah.
This is the small bag, and you get to go like this. Oh my God, it didn't work the way I wanted to.
Second try.
Your buddy says, I want a swim bait, and you go, FBI, what swim bait do you want?
Which one?
So I think these are solid. The strap, or the Velcro material up here is super heavy duty. I think that's going to hold up long term. This is a smaller bag, but you can see that you can store a ton of multiple size swim baits in this. This is my daily carry one. I use the smaller one most of the time. It has everything I need.
I think with a large, you're probably talking around 15 glide baits or swim baits. With the small, you're talking, again, if it's smaller baits, you're from 6 to 20, depending on how big they are.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in this one. And that is
some big boys in there.
A wide range of sizes.
Yeah. So $40 for the small one and $45 for the larger one. So a little on the pricey side. The quality is definitely there. And again, if you're into just, hey, I need 4 to 10 baits, and maybe it's glides is what I mess around with, or you want to keep them all separate, this might be the option for you. Plano Z-Wrap if you just want the do-all.
Something we haven't tried a ton, but we are going to be trying a lot more this year would be basic bait wraps. I got this one included in a random bundle from 6 cents, so I'm not saying rep 6 cents or anything. It's just a bait wrap. And actually, I think that the Velcro on this one is garbage out the box. You can see it's kind of falling apart Oh, look, it fell apart already.
Not good.
That's not great. But there are a lot of different single bait wrap options out there. Paul's going to be testing out kind of a bait sleeve option from Spro that recently came out.
The Serpra?
The Serpra is $10 probably per.
They're 17 and it comes in a 3-pack. That's on Amazon. So
Got it.
they're like $3 to $5 each. They're more of like a hard envelope that you slide a bait into, and it just kind of holds it just with the pressure based on the shape of it. But what's nice about it is you don't need the hook protectors. There's still airflow through the top because it doesn't close all the way, and you can just kind of stack these in a box, which I really like, or even in something like the Z-Wrap or something like that. It's just very low profile, a little more expensive than I'd like. I'd like to see these be like $2 or $3 because I feel like they're very inexpensive. Wouldn't we all? So maybe you're $5 to $6 for each one, which kind of don't love that. But they also have 3 different sizes, small all the way to large, and the large is big. So I actually have the largest in my cart as of the filming of this video. I'm gonna go pick those up, and I will be trying those this year, mix and match with some of these options.
So with tackle boxes, there's a million different options out there. There's a lot of cheap options, which are great if you're just getting into fishing and you just need to store tackle. By all means, get the cheapest possible thing you can get. Sometimes you can get your tackle backpack or bag, and it'll come with like 5 of those, and you're good to go. That's great. It's a great place to start. You get to a point where maybe you get annoyed. There's no rust protection in that. You're getting water.
Hinges.
Latches break. Water gets into them. They crack because the plastic is cheap. All that stuff.
So you lose the separators?
You lose.
No!
Oh, man. I have a billion separators. If you need any, we'll do them in a shmiv away.
But you don't know which one's in the back row. That's the problem.
The different shape, front, middle, back.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You got to cut them apart.
I forget which one are the Cabela's brand and which one are the Plano brand. There's a lot of problems with those standard boxes, but they're inexpensive, like Jeff said. And if you just need a whole bunch, that is the cheapest route. Go that route if you just need some separators.
If you want to step up a little bit, you can get watertight containers, which is good because then you don't have water sitting in all of your tackle. Just dry your stuff out, put it in here, you'll be fine. And if it's raining and this is on the deck of your boat, it doesn't get all your stuff all wet. That's great. This is a Plano stowaway. It's a pretty common one. You can get them on sale on Amazon all the time. It is one that most people have. It's got the 3 heavy-ish duty latches. They hold up pretty dang well.
I think they do.
And you've got different sizes that you can get in these, from the 3500 small size to 36 to the 3700 like this.
They have a gasket all the way around. That's your waterproof. But they still have the tabs in there, so you can only do so much just by pulling these out and moving them around.
And that is full of plastics that people have made us that I'm supposed to fish.
On it. Oh.
They made these 3.5 years ago. It hasn't been opened since.
They have a stench.
There's a lot of garlic in there.
So we like those for the price. We don't like them for the lack of customizability, and they will last you, but maybe 2 or 3 seasons if you're really hard on them, 5, 6 if you're just like medium duty. That is what those are. You can get off-brand versions of those pretty much everywhere. I saw them at Harbor Freight for about $1.50, $2 less per box. Or wait till they go on sale on Amazon. You're not beating those for value, but we can beat those based on quality and some other features we're going to show you here in a second. So the next step up we would look at would be the Cast King Hyper Seal. These are fantastic. If you want something similar to Plano Edge, and you don't want to spend Plano Edge money, then you get the Cast King Hyper Seal. We actually think the lid on this, the latch, thank you. We think the latch on this is actually far superior to the Plano Edge because you can't mislatch it, whereas on the Plano Edge, I constantly mislatch it. See? So what happens is if you're not in the dead center with your fingers like splayed out, you'll close it like this, and then what happens is that one is not actually closed. And then it'll pop open when you set it into your tackle box. You'll grab it and it will just explode. And that leads to hooks everywhere. It's a problem. Cool thing is this actually has a bunch of divider options, a few less than the Plano Edge. The Plano Edge has the most divider options by far. This one's pretty close though, and it comes with the exact same dividers and the exact same, this is just a silica gel packet, but little, they call it the damp proofer, which just slats in there and helps prevent rust buildup on all of your hooks and tackle. The other cool thing about this is it actually has measurement at the top. And the hinges, I thought were going to fall apart. They actually haven't fallen apart on us yet. This is just like plastic tabs back there. It held up a lot better than I thought it would, so I'll eat my words and I'll say it was more durable. Because remember when we first unboxed these, I was like, these are trash. They're not. They're great. They're pretty dang good. I used it for a full season. It was sort of my here's everything I'm testing box. So it always came with me. Never had a problem with it. Held up very well. These are going to be slightly less expensive than the Plano Edge boxes. They usually come in a 2-pack. You can get them on Amazon, Cast King's website, wherever you want, which is really nice, and they do go on sale.
So Plano Edge is like Plano's staple tackle system now. It's also pretty dang pricey, especially when you get into their specialty boxes, which I have a few behind me here that we can show you guys, because we don't own any regular boxes
I have
anymore.
one somewhere.
Yeah. So you got like the regular box right here, which looks very similar to the Cast King Hyper Seal. It's just yellow, and the latch is worse. So you got that as an option. The one thing that is slightly better is that you actually have a metal bar in the hinges back there. But again, Cast King held up a lot better than I thought it would. So I don't think it's an issue. But you got the Plano Edge options. What I do love from Plano Edge, and probably the only box I would recommend, would be the terminal box.
These are great.
Personal favorite.
All sizes, 36, 37.
It comes in a bunch of sizes, but this is, check out my hyper organized option. So here's my hyper organized terminal box. We'll hit it again when we get to all the terminal stuff, but of all the Plano Edge options, I think this is the best one. In general, I think the Plano Edges are built pretty well, except for the latch. And because of that, I'm always gonna recommend the Cast King Hyper Seal at this point. So just do that instead. There you go. All right, so that brings us to one of our favorites, Busby. And people hate on us for liking these, and we don't care because we think they're fantastic. I do. They've held up a lot. So this year, Busby actually dropped the Busby Basic boxes. This saves you about $10 per box, which if you wanted to get into Busby and you didn't want to spend the higher end, is that you? Oh. So if you wanted to get into Busby and you didn't want to like break the bank, you could potentially do that now with the Basic. The main difference is that on the inside, you don't get their colony cube system, you get the dividers. What we do like about that, these dividers snap in, so they stay in place. You get the exact number of divider storage options. As you can see up here, you have these little cube spaces there. That is for their colony system, but it keeps all your tackle from spilling over side to side. So that is really nice. These do float. They are watertight. They are rust protected.
They're super heavy duty. So the gasket's heavy duty. The plastic is extremely heavy duty.
You
look at the back, it's wicked overbuilt. There's a bar going all the way across with all of these support structure in the back. The Basics come in all their standard sizes. So this is the thin, so a thinner version, but it comes in the regular depth. Same as this one right here, and a deep.
This is how deep the deeps are. They're big.
Monstrous. And then the dividers are way higher quality than all of the other ones that anybody else makes. I mean, it is truly top of the top. Now, you pay more for it, but you get what you pay for, in our opinion. These will last. I still have the first one. Spaceman. Spaceman. It's the first one that I ever bought. I still have it and use it. So
that's the thing is, these have held up for years for us. So
true abuse.
Always going to recommend them.
Now, here's their standard colony. So this is the upgraded version from the Basic. Now, what do you get for the extra $10 or $15 depending on the model? You get the option to build a box like this one. They have a ton of different size trays, everything from squares you can keep spinner baits in, to the longer, thinner trays, to single trays, doubles, you name it, they've got it. You can even just pull them out, and this is both of our topwater boxes.
Yeah, you leave
pull
part
them out
of it
and just
open.
leave stuff floating around. It really does make, you can keep buzz baits in there,
hollow body baits,
whatever you want. So we love the Busby boxes. They are the most expensive, but we do feel like you get what you pay for. So just like Plano, they have much smaller sizes.
They do. So here's your 3500 size Edge box that you could use. They also have a tiny terminal that you could use,
which I really like. And that Busby also makes the 8T, so a very small version of this. This would be like your river box, or your BFS box. That's what we use these for. And then they come with, again, all the same sizes fit in there. So there's your single cubes. You can use the 4s, or you can empty the whole dang thing out, which I have done before too. Whatever floats your tackle box, because these do float.
Gosh.
That is something to call out. The Planos, allegedly waterproof. I don't trust them nearly as much as the Busbys or the Plano stowaways. Those are just way more waterproof. And these 100% are waterproof and do float.
Okay, so at every tackle box breakdown video that we've ever done, somebody inevitably in the comments shouts from the top of a mountain, Harbor Freight, why haven't you gone? Well, we did, and we bought some stuff there. So we went there, I checked out a lot of different boxes. Like I said, they have the Plano stowaways for a couple bucks cheaper per. That's an option. There you go, great. Another thing that they have is these alternatively sized, not 3600, not 3700 size boxes that you could go with. One, I will not be using for tackle. I'm using it to organize bolts and bits and stuff.
There are some big bolts in there.
There's hardware in here, but it's not fishing related. But check this out. So you can get something like this for 10 bucks, which you can see is not 3700 sized. It's a little bit wider, so it's not going to fit in as well with all your other boxes. It could fit in a crate this way, but it's going to space a lot of your stuff out. But it's an option. Like if I had one box, if I wanted one box for 10 bucks, I could grab something like this. I do think it's pretty neat for what you get. It's got a carry handle for it.
We like the carry handle. There are some other benefits, not including the flimsiest lid in the world and the flimsiest latches, but you do get the trays that you can move around a little bit. So you do get some dividers there, and these little plus signs do hold them in place, which is kind of nice. You're not going to get any rust protection. Yes, you can empty these out, but they are going to slide around a bit. That's okay, though. For the price, I think you're good. And the carry handle does help, and they are big. So they're gigantic, and they do close eventually.
It is a bit flimsy. Like, the whole thing itself actually, like, folds with the weight in here. So,
but it'll hold up. I mean, it's not just going to break on you.
Point is, it's an option. So, I mean, if you wanted to only spend 10 bucks, you only wanted one thing, and you wanted to carry all of your baits in there, you could do that. And then there were also like super heavy duty versions of that. There were quite a bit more. Not as I thought they were going to be a lot cheaper based on what people were shouting in the comments. They were actually still around 30, 40 bucks. But they were like your heavy duty tool and hardware storage that you would see at a hardware store. And they're fine, but again, they're big, they're bulky. It's not for me. And if I missed something at Harbor Freight, I looked pretty thoroughly, but if I missed something, you can let me know specifically what it is that I missed in the comments below, or if it's at another hardware store somewhere else. Okay, so we're gonna look at a couple like specialty boxes that you guys could get into. We got jigs, we got spinner baits, and we've got A-rigs and things like that that don't fit into your typical box very well. First up is the Plano Edge jig box. I do still use this, but I never take it on the boat.
I never do
because I don't need this many jigs on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
So I take a couple of jigs. This is like just storing all the jigs during the day, and then I grab what I need. I put it into my day box, which is a Busby, and I take it out to the water. Cool idea though, if you want to just store all your jigs. A couple issues with this is that it can break the...
These are going to be heavy. You're going to have 3 to 7 pounds of jigs in here. If you got half ounce, half ounce, half ounce, half ounce, half ounce, it adds up fast, which means when you drop it, you cracking it.
Yeah, I have broken one of these already. You drop it on the corner explodes. I've had that happen. The other issue is that the space between these is either too narrow or too wide. So jigs either fall out
Swing jigs for sure.
The band holding the skirt on breaks.
That's right.
Which is another major issue. But
my biggest problem is
mostly there.
My biggest problem is you can see right here, the brush guards hit the top of this and they bend. So
the brush guards do get
They always bend. So that's actually my biggest gripe. And that is why I do not use this anymore.
Another one I'm not going to recommend is any spinnerbait box, period, all of them. They're just not worth it. Yes, you can hang your spinnerbaits. Here's a Plano Edge one. It's a bit pricier. If you're a bass boat fisherman, I can see where the value of this is. If you are a kayak angler, tell me you're taking this ammo crate out with you. I'm not.
I would rather just have this as a waterproof empty box for stuff. It's way more valuable as that. The Busby can hold 10 spinnerbaits in one 4-cube section.
Oh, it's over here.
And I think Jeff's gonna grab one for you. That's where I think makes the most sense. Unless you literally just only fish spinnerbaits, this is 50 bucks.
This is hands down our favorite way to store spinnerbaits on the water. It is a simple 2x2 cube that goes into the Busby. You lay your spinnerbaits flat, you take 7 or 8 of them. How many do you really need? That's even overkill right there. And you have everything you need for the day. We aren't that somebody. All right. Next up, we got A-rigs. These are notoriously difficult to store. There are a lot of like DIY solutions. So you take like the little like cap piece from your pop bottles. The ring, and you can just hold that around it. Hooks are still exposed. They still get hung up on stuff.
And they slide off. So I've done that. I didn't love it, but it did technically work.
Technically, it did the thing. The other thing is you can use any sort of plastic tubing, right? A lot of people just get like a tube. You can buy them for like $4 or $5.
Tackle Warehouse is like the only place that sells them.
Yeah, they're okay. I used that for about a year. It's just like you're just throwing them into accessory bins wherever you can. I lost 2 A-rigs that way because I think the tube just rolled overboard.
I use those twist ties too, the ones that come for trash bags. That's actually the one that I use now, and I put it in a box like this without the special yellow tabs, or I just throw it into like whatever plastic storage I have, and I just have to know there's some hooks in there.
So this is cool because you have this little special divider piece there that holds like the jig head, and then you got another one down here that takes your 3 or 5 wires from your A-rig and collapses them a little bit without bending the wire.
I wish they would just sell those.
Yeah, like I would love to have just more of those that you could use in your standard like 36, 3700 size boxes. This box I think is really cool, and it's fairly inexpensive because it's just like the basic Plano plastic, right? All right, so next up, we're gonna be looking at terminal storage options. I already mentioned this. This is my personal favorite. It's not Paul's. He has a different one that he's gonna show you guys. And we already did a full video on it, so he'll tell you about that too. But this is how I run my terminal. One box, Plano Edge terminal. Got your weights up top. You can see that you can hyper OCD this baby, and you've got all your labels there. So this is pretty fantastic to me, in my opinion.
You get a lot of lids too.
Yeah, you get all the, that's the cool thing about the Plano Edge terminal is if I open this up without dropping all my stuff, you can see that there are individual lids and it opens over 180 degrees.
If I can do this weird angle.
So there you go. You got the lids. You can write on those lids. I use dry erase marker, and then you can rewrite it, wipe it off, do whatever you want to do. And then you got these, probably one of the best weight storage systems in the biz.
It's the best.
You got these silicone trays there, and they snap shut. This thing is clutch. I'll be continuing to use this. Plus rust protection, moisture protection. It's the way to go. 50 to 60 bucks typically.
It's also thin, which is nice because it doesn't take as much space as a full box. The latch does suck. It's actually the worst of all the latches.
Still,
it is
I
the worst.
lose. This is the one that cracks open on me so many times, and then hooks just come pouring out. So that is a huge dislike. I wish Plano Edge would do better with their latch.
What I'll be using this season, and I like those. Don't get me wrong. I really like the Plano Edge box. I like the small ones. I like the big ones. They're great. That is probably the easiest option for people to get into. The one that I wanted to test that you guys wanted us to test, we went out and bought, I'm going to clip it in right here, is the BKK terminal box. Now, this is not the one that came with all the hooks. This is the starter kit. So it came with some boxes. I bought some more. They're $5 for 5, so they're $1 each. I'll be labeling them and putting weights in it, and this will be my total terminal box. I think this box is very nice. I think even for the price, it's still the same price essentially as even when you add $5, $10 for the extra boxes. It ends up being almost the same as a Plano box, but it is a little deeper. It's a weird size. It's in between 36 and 37. It's a little taller than a regular box, which I didn't love, but I think it is a good option. So I will be testing it out this year. We'll see how it goes.
As far as terminal, you can always turn any general tackle box into a terminal box. It's just going to be loud and rattly.
Really loud. I did the
Busby.
I did the Busby because it's thin. I did the basic box, and
it's going to be like that, but imagine tungsten weights.
It's very loud if you got weights in there. Even if you take the weights out, hooks rattling is still really loud. However, it's like 20-some bucks. It's extremely heavy duty. It is modular, so you can have like jigs and all kinds of stuff in there. And if you ended up not liking it, you can use it for other stuff. So I really like that as a budget option. That's still very high quality.
Every brand has the exact same box of this, essentially. It's either a single or dual-sided multi-purpose storage solution. We've had
Gamakatsu, there's a whole bunch
Euro
of
tackle, mule fishing, right? And this is great. So there's just a double-sided box. You get perforated foam on one side, which can hold your jigs and hooks. And on the other side, you have general all-purpose storage. So this is my ultralight kit. If I hit the river, this has literally everything I need for 14 weeks on the river without ever needing to buy any more tackle.
All ultralight though.
Yes, all ultralight.
But for $10, I do think it is pretty heavy duty. It's very clean and simple, and it's super effective. So if you find one of these, whether it's on mule fishing or not, just go get one. They do work really well.
But support mule fishing because Ethan is cooler than everybody else.
Get one of those.
Another option we see a lot that we don't love is hook wallets. There are a million of them. There are also terminal wraps, roll-ups, binders. You know,
Evolution makes a couple different versions of them.
We've used them personally. It's just like one.
It's like the
look how fat that gets. This ain't no wallet.
It's like the bait.
Put it in my rear pocket.
Yeah, it's like the bait binder, where it holds less than you think, and it's an awkward package. Instead of one box, if you can fit all your terminal into one box, including weights, I think you're way better off than you are with 4 of those or 3 of those, and you still need to hold your weights, and you still need to hold other stuff. It's not nearly as organized. You got to cut out the backs of all the cards to slide them in there and change them every time you want to change them. Like they just don't. They're not as effective as I thought they would be. We gave it a full season. I'm out.
We're just not into it. But again, that doesn't mean it's not right for somebody out there. It might even be you. You're like, no, hook wallets are the best. And we're like, okay, that's awesome.
And this is one of the best options. It's very inexpensive, and it is very quality. Heavy duty zipper or Velcro. You have the hard plastic on all sides, and it does hold a crap ton of stuff. So I think this is one of the best options with NACO, and everything they make, if you could just fill this with terminal as well from NACO, and you're talking about a super value.
You're good. To finish the video out, let's talk about general tackle storage. So you got all these tackle boxes, you got all these hook wallets and other random things you got just coming out of your ears. Where do you store all this stuff? Now, no tackle storage breakdown video would be complete without the help of old grandpappy. So you can use your classic tri-level Plano storage system. I actually find these at thrift stores all the time, and sometimes you get little treats in them. They're full of tackle. So you find like really old lures and stuff. It's a treasure hunt. Go out there, look for them. Trust me, you'll be happy. And usually you can get them for real cheap. So you go with one of these if you just want the all-purpose. It's got all my stuff. Paul uses this at his lake cabin all the time.
It's great for traveling to and fro. So if I've got like my kid, I have a soft version of one of those. Just like a Bass Pro Shops one. It has 3 tackle boxes inside of it. I've taken 2 of them out, and then I just basically say, what do we need for this weekend? Throw it all in there. It's most of my kids' fishing stuff, and then boom, good to go. And it lasts forever. Yeah, tools, all that, just jam it all in. It's a nice little package for like a shorter trip or a weekend, and when you're just going to and fro.
Another great option that adds the ability to carry some tackle boxes in it. I also found at Harbor Freight, this one actually was passed down to me by a great uncle. This is full of like inline spinner creating stuff and like fly tying materials, but you could use this for whatever. There's actually a top lid area in there with another little 3500 size box. You can see I got a bunch of tools in there, and then you pop open this front area, which you can't do with one hand apparently, or I guess I can. And then you can throw in 4, I believe it comes with them, tackle boxes, or you can leave one space empty and throw whatever other extra stuff you want in there. These are pretty dang cheap. Again, I saw them at Harbor Freight, so this exact one, if you wanted to get one for yourself, you could do that. And it's got a handle on it, so you just tuck this into your vehicle, go to wherever you want to fish, especially if you're bank fishing. I think this is such a good option. And they're really freaking cheap, and they come with tackle boxes already.
There's a lot of generic ones. Yeah, there's a lot of different versions of this, or even the other tackle box to meet your needs. So if you need a giant one, they make gigantic ones. These are sort of the medium size. They're going to range anywhere from 15 or 20 bucks all the way up to $75, somewhere in between there.
You get a fancy one.
And they're all going to have different features. We can't cover every single one, but I will say I prefer a backpack to those if I'm a bank fisherman, because 100%. I like to be mobile and just move around a lot. But if you're one of the folks who likes to sit at your one spot, toss a bobber, you cannot beat one of those options.
Before we get to bags, because that's definitely something we should talk about, Paul has showed off one of these in a prior, what was that video?
The BKK video.
So Paul talked about one of these in his BKK video, actually. This is the upsized version of that. You can find these at craft stores. So what I really like these for is actually not necessarily taking it to the bank or going fishing, but for like extra gear storage.
So like the jig box, you could supplant your entire jig box pretty easily. Just say, hey, all half-ounce jigs go in here. All football head jigs go in this box. And it really cleans things up.
And you got all these little trays in here, and you can just pack it full of jigs or whatever stuff you're maybe not using.
Anywhere from $5 to $25, depending on the size and the number. They're really inexpensive. They don't need to do a lot. They just need to sit here and keep things divided and organized.
This is what it actually is for. But you can use it for whatever.
Search bead organizer kits on Amazon, and you can have them at your house in 1 to 2 days.
Neat. Last thing we're going to talk about today, because holy cow, has this been a whirlwind of a video. And so let's talk about bags real quick. How do I carry stuff around? One of the best options, we get asked about this all the time, is the Bass Pro / Cabela's. I believe they call it the Magnum bag.
That's the big one.
There's multiple sizes of this. These I've been using for years. Paul had it before me. I was like, where'd you get this bag? I want it. And then I got one. They're fairly inexpensive for what you actually get. These run about this much generally. There's a bunch of different sizes of them. They are insanely heavy duty. They have a hard, rigid bottom, so it keeps all your tackle boxes will stand up in here just fine. It holds a ton of tackle boxes, and it's got the shoulder strap, and it's got all these tools and accessory pouches. So.
The side pockets actually hold a lot of stuff. And by a lot, I mean like a lot. Like all your extra line can fit on one side. All of your tools can fit on one side. It holds way more than you would think. I think if you have one of these as a kayak fisherman,
all your stuff
you can literally bring all your stuff and then just pick and choose what you want for the day while you're at the ramp or whatever. it's an investment. It's like a Christmas gift type deal. It's not a need to have, but it's a nice to have. And Jeff talked about the different options, sizes.
Here's the bigger one.
There is the bigger duffel too. This holds, I think, anywhere from around
15,
10 to 15 boxes
15
pretty easily. It is cavernous, monstrous, but they're not free. But it's a buy once, cry once situation. You're not going to buy 2 of these. Like they will last you a lifetime. I've had one for 6 years. Other than some dirt, it looks brand new.
The other option that we now use to bring all our stuff to the lake or river, wherever we're fishing, is the Busby Hive. There's 2 different sizes of this. This is the smaller size. It's basically a ridiculous storage crate. Well, and I'll talk about alternative options to this in a second. But it is watertight. You get your watertight gasket there. The lid has all these different latches. It hinges open and the lid stays on.
The nice thing with the latches is, like, I just opened it backwards. You can open it the other way, and it holds up.
But yeah, so you can keep that lid on there. It's super heavy duty.
Waterproof.
Here, go ahead and stand on it.
Yep. Heavy duty wise, other than being waterproof, I've stood on these multiple times. I've stood on 2 or 3 of these to reach stuff in my garage.
It's like a ladder.
Never been a problem.
They stack really well. Now, alternatively, I have to call it out because somebody will say it in the comments if I don't. There are cheaper versions of this at a lot of your local hardware stores. You can definitely go look at that. They're not exactly the same, and you could put them side by side. Maybe we should. I think in a future video, we will put them side by side. We'll toss them around. We'll see which one holds up, and then we'll eat our words if we have to, because we're wrong. Happy to, absolutely. These are definitely pricier. So if you're okay with spending up, we think it's a great option. If you want to save some money, look at your local hardware stores, especially around the holidays. Storage bins in odd colors.
You like red and green?
Looking at you, Christmas.
You like orange and black? Me too. So the nice thing about these boxes is, one, they come with a couple of dividers, so they have places for you to put these in to keep things separated. A lot of the bins do that as well. But another thing that you can do, and these are really built to manage, is the Busby boxes themselves. So like we showed,
grab one end and we'll both do it.
Oh, look at the big boy. It's totally full.
Here's the big boy. Look.
Dividers, and then you can see it's built to accommodate the boxes. And the other ones are built to accommodate them flat. So this one can handle 2 boxes, one here and one here, the 3700 size. And you can stack them up this way if you wanted to, in addition to being vertical. So that is one benefit of the Busby boxes, is that they accommodate the whole ecosystem of Busby terminal and tackle storage.
Real quick budget option, if you just want to take a couple of tackle boxes down to the water and hang out, is the Plano Weekender system. These are super cheap. There's a million of them. There's the Guide series, which is way more expensive. You could definitely do that. These work great. Open lid, stores up to 2.5 boxes, like 2 regular size and a thin. And then you have this front pouch for tools. I take this down to the bank by my lake all the time. It's great. Then we got backpacks, and we're not gonna spend a lot of time on this because we already did full videos on not just this backpack, but also Paul's backpack, which is the Ego. So you can see a full video of these if you just check on our channel. We call them the co-angler bags. If you're a co-angler, you want to take a whole bunch of stuff for a tournament onto somebody else's boat, they're fantastic. We did this on several trips, actually. A bunch of times, yep. We used those as our go-to bags for those trips, and they were great. They are way more expensive. You're pushing $200 with these types of bags, so it's something to keep in mind. Tons of storage. They hold your boxes vertically, though, and if you go for the cheaper end, they kind of hold them like horizontally. We don't love it as much. There's a million backpacks like this out there.
But what makes these different is a hard waterproof bottom that keeps them standing up so not tipping over, and then they also, the waterproofness, obviously, when you're at the bank, and you're dropping them on the ground, you can drop these in the mud and you're going to be just fine. They also have like specific sunglass holders. There's also a separator. The reason we like these two the most is there's a Velcro separator that goes in the middle of the box. So if you want to have like your clothes on top, here, you can have your 3600 size, your 3600 size boxes going this way. And then the separator's right here and you can keep clothes, lunch, all that stuff separate. And that is that's probably the biggest differentiator from just a regular backpack to this one. That said, I would recommend that if you don't want to spend the money on that, you can get away with just a regular backpack.
Any old backpack.
I did like my school backpack for years bank fishing. It works just fine. You're going to be okay. If you want a spring and you want to just have something specifically for fishing, those are both phenomenal options, but you're going to pay for them.
Holy cow, you guys, that was probably everything that you could ever consider to store some fishing stuff in. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. We covered a lot of stuff. We covered a bunch of different price points, the whole budget spectrum, if you will. We tried to show prices where we could. And if you read the description below, you'll see the names of all of these items included there, separated by category. Yes, I said it. Sorry, person editing this video. Deal with it. We do it because we love you guys. So again, if this was helpful, subscribe to the channel, smash that like, do us a favor, and come back for the next video because we'd love to see you there. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.